Nacho's crew. It's Paul, Dr. Nacho, bring you some interesting Nacho toppings here at the end of the day. We're here with my good friend, Dr. Ryan Robinson. We're going to talk about a few different things tonight, sleep apnea. But first, I have a C course after this I'm giving, so I have to wait to open my parenting medicine. But Ryan, what are you drinking there?
I got a little Cabernet.
Nice. Yeah, that is parenting medicine. We had a parenting coach on this afternoon, and she was giving us tips and strategies on schedules and how to deal with your kids, and parenting medicine is part of it.
Hey, I'll tell you what, man, it is literally the toughest job in the world. I mean, being a dentist is extremely easy when you put it in comparison to like what my wife goes through on a daily basis. I have so much more appreciation for her. And, you know, I just got in from bringing the kids in for a walk around the neighborhood, put them in front of the TV with the new Trolls World Tour video. So I'm sitting down for a nice.
I've seen that 3 times. It's got a good message, that movie. I like it. Well, thanks for being on Talking Nachos, kind of like, you know, a Zakov between 2 nachos here. That's so right. What I wanted you to share with us is, you know, I like to bring good new ideas. You know, right now we're on pause in dentistry. We're waiting to get back. We want to bring new things to our patients. Sometimes it's time to recenter and add things to our practice. You've been an awesome leader in the world of sleep apnea. We've done some courses live. We'll do that again when that's allowed. But share with us a little bit your journey to learning about sleep apnea and what you're doing now.
Yeah, that's great. So, so I started, you know, looking into sleep a number of years ago. At first it was just kind of a hobby. And to be honest with you, it was kind of like a financial hobby. I was like, this seems like, you know, you can make some money in it. And, you know, soon enough, I really became passionate about it. I went and studied my butt off, ended up with 3 board certifications later. Yeah, I mean, I got into it because I took a course out in Wisconsin, actually. And, I just saw the impact that you could have on your patients from like a whole health centered perspective. And, I like dentistry, and like you know, I had fun doing it for a while. But for some reason, it just didn't feel like my all-time calling. And so my goal for the last 5 years has been to go completely exclusive to treating TMJ and sleep. And so that's kind of where I'm at now. I have my own pain and sleep therapy center in Delaware, and we treat 100%, no dentistry. We treat 100% pain, craniofacial pain, and sleep breathing disorders. So it's been quite a ride with a number of kind of hurdles and obstacles in the middle there. But, you know, again, it interests me from the start, and it's so powerful to be able to help somebody sleep and to be able to help, you know, somebody from a whole health perspective, which is a little bit more than being able to do a class 2 on number 18.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've met my good friend, and what I've done and what you've done to some degree has parallels. You know, you still have general dental practices where you have associates working. We have periodontist. We have a sleep apnea focused dentist, Dave Slobodinsky. And I mean,
he's great, by the way. I love Dave.
Thanks, yeah. I'll be kind of genuine in me that, you know, I'm always looking for new ideas. I'm always open-minded. But I actually kind of thought, you know, what is this sleep apnea stuff? It kind of seems like hocus pocus. But I said, let me bring Dr. Slobodinsky in. We have these patients, and, you know, the impact we've made on patients, you know, he always says very rarely do people thank him, like you said, for class 2s or crowns. But we've had these most just powerful testimonials of how people's lives have been changed. And these are patients that I've known for years. And I kind of feel bad we didn't have these resources for them before. But it's hard to take, you know, dentists are all dotted around the country in their own little practices. Learning this and bring into your practice is tough. What would you say, Ryan? You know, we have the dental nachos world, 20,000 plus people, mads, bads, and sads, medium age dentists, baby age dentists. Let's just start with what I love, like when we did implants, my first. You're sitting there watching this thinking, I would like to get started. I would like to think about what I could do to just do the next thing right, which is from Frozen 2, that movie. What would you tell a dentist out there what their first step should be?
Yeah, it's a great question. So unlike a lot of things, I mean, no offense to you, but when you take your first implant course with Paul Goodman, I mean, you are ready on Monday to place that first implant. You are extremely ready. You're prepared. Unfortunately, in the sleep medicine world and in the world that I live in, it takes a lot of education. So I'd say probably the first thing to do is sign up for some sort of introductory course. They at least get some sort of background to get some sort of education on this stuff. And the best thing you can do is you know, you have patients coming in through your practice every single day. And we know about at least 25% to probably more so like 40% have a sleep-related breathing disorder. So you have an opportunity to like just start looking and having conversations share side with your patients. So maybe it's just as simple as a nice little screening form that you implement in your practice.
I love that you
that
said
says,
that, because we did the implant course together. You've been so kind about it, and you've done, you know, a real star in placing them. But I tell people, before you even take a course, just get good about talking about it, referring it, asking people, saying the
yeah,
language. So the same thing for sleep. I mean, I sat through your course, which was awesome that we did together, and I felt, you know, empowered, ready to be able to ask patients questions and get them to the right practitioner. I mean, you know, in your world, Ryan, now let's skip ahead. You do advanced sleep stuff. So you get referrals from other people who probably do sleep to maybe do pediatrics or things like that. Tell us a little bit about that angle. I've been to the Pain and Sleep Center. Awesome place you built down there. Tell us about some of the interesting things you do down there.
yeah, no, thanks. So, yeah, at the Pain and Sleep Center, we are just an airway focused practice. So, typically, a lot of our patients that come in, they're suffering from headaches, they're suffering from jaw pain, and they're suffering from, you know, sleep issues, whether that be sleep apnea or whether it not be. We see a ton of patients who don't necessarily have sleep apnea, but they may just have some sort of breathing condition that not necessarily qualifies as a sleep apnea patient. So at our center, we really just take our patients' kind of goals for their health under our wing. And so sometimes we're able to be the quarterback, and we're able to set up a treatment plan that kind of guides them to becoming a better version of themselves from a health perspective. And sometimes we're able to do it all at our center. And so, you know, we do have sleep apnea services. We have, you know, TMJ. We have a whole tongue tie program where we release.
Tell us, because I know a little bit on the inside. Who are the providers that work down there? Just because I didn't find it magnificent, amazing how many different types of providers outside the dental space are involved, and you're really part of this team. The myofascial therapist, is that right? Or who else works down there?
Yeah, yeah. So not myofascial, myofunctional, right?
Myofunctional. Okay.
Myofunctional therapist. So myofunctional therapist can only be either dental hygienist, speech language pathologist, or dentist. And so myself, two of my hygienists, and then my partner, Dr. Joanna Green, we all went and took the myofunctional therapy courses together a few years back. Since then, we've been to so many advanced educational myofunctional therapy courses. But I know you and I think your sister and her son have been there to kind of experience what we do. So myofunctional therapy is basically physical therapy for the mouth. And so what we do is we train people how to breathe better. We train people how to use their muscles better. And a lot of the goals are to be able to grow the airway, to be able to develop the jaws, to be able to, you know, get correct kind of breathing function and correct oral resting posture. So a lot of these things can play big, huge influences for the way that people develop and the way that they regulate, you know, regulate their health. I mean, one of the things that I really wanted to talk about tonight was the fact that, you know, while all this is going on, the COVID, you know, I see all these people wearing masks around in public, and that's great. I think that's fantastic. But a lot of people don't realize, like, we have a natural filtration system built into our bodies. It's called our noses, right? And so within our noses, we have the paranasal sinuses. And within those paranasal sinuses, we have what's called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a gas, and it's a compound which actually helps warm, moisten, and filter oxygen as it comes into our body. So if we breathe in through our mouth, we get inflammation. If we breathe in through our mouth, we actually increase our blood pressure. If we breathe in through our nose, we can actually go into our parasympathetic state. We can actually help kind of filter all the bacteria, viruses, molecules that are out there. And so people really needed to pay attention to how they're breathing, especially at nighttime. That's a significant portion of the day where your body is really relied upon to heal itself, and your brain is really relied upon itself to heal itself as well. And so if we're breathing through our mouth at nighttime, it's a very bad problem. If we're breathing through our mouth at nighttime, that's a problem in itself outside of sleep apnea. So we really concentrate on teaching people how to breathe through their nose during the daytime and at nighttime in order to benefit their health.
I love that. I love that message. And some of the things I'm thinking about through this coronavirus pause and crisis is dentist and dentistry is going to redefine itself. It's been doing that anyway, but now we have this time where, I mean, what I've been thinking, Ryan, this is, you know, I'm an idea guy. You know, you have two general dental practices. Like, go back to your tooth dentistry. What are people going to feel like when they want to go back? Are they going to be afraid of the safety? Are they be afraid of spending money? So what I thought was, maybe I'll have like exam day. Whether you're an existing patient, a new patient, we'll have no work, and we'll see people take x-rays, intraoral photos. And that's what you guys are doing at Pain and Sleep, where you're really part of the whole wellness process, not necessarily the drilling process. And we all can do that in our practices and really make an impact on people's lives. And this pause of the coronavirus crisis, I think, is going to force us to be creative with a lot of things.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I think it's going to reinvent a lot of practices. I think anybody who goes through turmoil, anybody who's going to go through this big of a crisis, I mean, you have to get back to the roots. You have to look into, you know, what is going to make your patients feel comfortable about coming to your office. Because if your patients are showing up and, you know, your office doesn't seem clean, or your staff is not educated properly on what's going on, you know, they're not going to feel comfortable coming back to you. And so everybody's going to be living in this world where they're kind of like tiptoeing around, like figuring out what's safe and what's not safe. And as healthcare providers, like we need to be on the forefront of education. So one of the things we're going to do at our practices is, before we get back to work, which, you know, who knows when that's going to be, right? Is it in May? Is it in June? You know, who knows? But we're going to all get together once it's safe, and we're going to talk about education. We're going to talk about all the processes that we're going to put in place, whether we have the filtration machines in each operatory, whether we just have a conversation with the patient and comfort them as they come in. But it's going to be really key to being able to, you know, make your patients feel comfortable, so that, you know, you can get on with your business.
And also, you guys, you know, do such a great job. And these are kind of, you know, they're poignant stories, but, you know, I go to baseball games from my whole life, kind of Phillies games, and they didn't always used to have netting because people would get hit with the ball.
Yeah.
And bad things have happened. And yes, it's a rare chance to get hit, but if you get hit, it could be disastrous. So they put things in place at baseball stadiums to make people feel more comfortable and be safer. We're going to have to do the exact same thing with our patients, and we're going to have to get out in front of it. So if you say, oh, it's going to be the same, it's not going to be the same. How we talk is going to be different. It doesn't mean, also, it doesn't mean bad. It just means that we're going to have to get together with our team before our practice open, just like you said, because people are going to start asking, and I'm doing this tonight in a half hour, and, you know, it's one of my favorite things, how to talk to patients. When people ask you weird questions, we're going to get questions we never got before the second we get back. We're going to get questions that we can't even think of, because we're on the inside, and we have to have our team ready to be able to answer them. But what I wanted to share before we jump off is, you know, I like implants a lot. You've done great with implants, doing sleep apnea. It's all about life-changing stuff, and people will come in for life-changing stuff. Someone who had an overdenture planned before the coronavirus, they're going to do that afterwards, because that's how they chew and eat. Somebody who has a breathing problem or can't sleep. So that's what you want to focus on, Dennis, this life-changing stuff, just like you guys are doing.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point, and I love your analogy. By the way, I haven't heard that one. I love it. It's a typical Paul analogy that, you know, my wife and I, as we were walking the kids around the neighborhood here, I was like, yeah, I'm doing an interview with Paul. She's like, oh, are you going to talk about all his analogies? Because she even knows. She's like, you know, you've learned so much from Paul's analogies, and just the way that you speak with patients and arm us dentists and teach us dentists to be able to speak with our patients chairside really makes it relevant. And communication is going to be key here. I mean, if you're a dentist and you can't communicate with your patients, forget about it. I mean, your patients are going to have so many questions. The landscape has changed. The culture has changed. You better be prepared to sit up and pull your mask off and be able to have a conversation with something. Well, maybe your mask will be on.
Yeah, right.
But you better be prepared to have a conversation.
But I think, Ryan, actually, before I want to, tell us, because you just made me think of something. Tele Dentistry is a great way, and telemessaging, to get this message out. And in fact, Ryan, maybe we'll be sending these things to people's phones before they even come into the office. I mean, we may develop this touchless society for a while, and, you know, where you say we might need our mask on, but maybe prior to coming to the office, they've gotten a carefully curated message. Tell us how you're using teledentistry with your sleep patients, and how you kind of see that as a benefit to what you do and other dentists can do.
Yeah, no. So we, like I said, this corona has rocked us to our core. And unlike a lot of dentists who, you know, have had procedures scheduled and there's hygiene appointments scheduled, you know, the patient comes in and they get their service and they leave. That's not my world. My world is therapy. My world is you come in, you get a diagnosis, you get a full examination, and then we start your therapy plan. So all of my patients, I see all of my patients every 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So we're in the middle of a bunch of stuff. So I couldn't just abandon them. So I had to figure out what the heck we were going to do. So, you know, I got educated on this DoxyMe platform, and now myself and all my staff, we're all sitting at home doing DoxyMe pretty much all day long. And so we're doing telehealth virtually every single day. I mean, our patients need us. We're in the middle of a bunch of treatment plans.
Right.
And, you know, like you said, people want to breathe well, especially now. And people are putting their health, their sleep, you know, their overall wellness kind of as a higher priority right now. So we're getting a lot of new patient calls saying, hey, I heard Dr. Robinson can help me with my sleep. I heard Dr. Robinson's the person to help me out with my headaches. You know, I'm having more stress these days. So we're still taking new patients, but we're doing it all telehealth. And so, no, we can't do a full examination. No, we can't do an official diagnosis, but we can at least give the patient hope. We can at least talk them through some, like, you know, some short-term strategies in order to make them feel okay and kind of get them by.
My favorite thing. You can do my favorite thing, whether it's my whiteboard pictures, whether it's a YouTube clip, you can connect with them and you can move the relationship forward a little bit better, makes a lot better life. I mean, I just had a great, these three triplets who run Trio Fitness, Ryan, amazing guys. You know, they're obviously doing at-home workouts and they have programs they can send to their clients. That's very much appreciated by somebody who might want to work out. So what you guys can do for your patients with using Tele Dentistry or telehealth is magical, because for two reasons people are watching. One, you can help them now, Ryan, and move them forward. Two, you're getting ready for to return for when they can come in. If you want to share something with us, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just looking.
If it's tough, no problem. We can save it for volume 2.
Yeah, because I want to share a couple of things. Okay, let me go.
I can keep talking while they do that. So a couple of things as Ryan shares this, it is, Ryan's doing some awesome, go ahead and share this with us. Awesome.
So can you see this?
Yeah, all looks great.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is what we're doing. I mean, I go into the office a lot of days. I mean, right now I'm at my house, but I go into the office a lot of days and I just sit there in my media room. And like, luckily we had created this and I have this big, huge TV on the wall where, you know, I do interviews with you and people like this, right. And do CE, for other dentists. But, we had this kind of, mobile, virtual platform that's already set up. So this is me like on a teleconference with, you know, a patient who was calling in with jaw pain. So like, I'm just sitting there with my skull, educating, telling her why, you know, things are making sense. And so she left there, you know, knowing that, you know, help is on the way. And so I think that's a breath of fresh air for a lot of our patients who are suffering right now. And then I would share this as well.
Oh, this is awesome. So today we had a collaborative CE course, and Ryan's doing an awesome CE here. So let us know how people can get involved and find out information. Already Dental Nachos crew, salsa@dentalnachos.com. We can get you connected too, because we're going to collaborate. But share with us a little bit about this program.
Yeah, so a couple of weeks ago, you know, as we got shut down and as I realized that this is probably a great opportunity for a lot of dentists to get more education on being whole health centered. And I can't emphasize that enough, Paul. It is really it's a total health centered approach that us dentists now need to take, right? So we are challenging ourselves to our core because we are doctors and we have the capability to learn and be, you know, a provider that gives our patients more than just a clean tooth. Right. And so what I came up with was a 10-part CE lecture series. And by the way, this is free for anybody who wants to log on. We're giving away these free CE credits. And for me, it's just a great way to give back. For me, it's a great way to educate. And for me, it's a great way to showcase a lot of my talented providers that I get to work with on a daily basis.
I want to share, Ryan, and this is, since I'm kind of so hooked up in the CE world, I love it. You know, this is like these indie bands, like, you know, I'm sure all these people, but like Mariana Evans is, I know, a rock star in this world of doing all this stuff.
She is the best.
Yeah. So, I mean, you guys are really, don't miss out on doing this. Salsa, I'll give our email, salsa@dentalnachos.com, Ryan. And what if people want to contact you guys directly? What's the best way to contact your team?
Yeah, I mean, they can send me an email at Dr. Robinson at Pain and Sleep, at Pain and Sleep. I mean, here's my.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Leave that up there for a minute so that we can get some of our Nacho things. Well, I'm excited to do more collaboration with this, Ryan. You're awesome. I mean, what you just showed there is you've remotified your dental, and you're being a dentist, right? And I know you're using it for sleep. You've made it remote, you know, being able to talk with a patient and educate them from your desk while they're at home is the wave of the future for us. And the coronavirus crisis has taught that we need to embrace this faster than we think. And this can happen for cosmetic consults, implant consults, getting to know you stuff. I mean, you know, once I start talking, I don't stop, but like, I'm wondering, Ryan, like, and we both have practices that are busy, especially you in Delaware. I mean, we might not even be allowed to have the same number of human beings in our practice for a while. So wouldn't it be great to screen, you know, normally If it's a Thursday, I'll just say, I'll bring the patient in, put them in that chair. I'll look at their tooth while I put in an implant crown and deal with this. That may not be the way things are right now. I mean, it may be a big deal to set up and break down an operatory, and it may be better to have your team jump on a telehealth call and say, show us your tooth and determine if they need to come in. And I think, Ryan, patients are going to appreciate that too.
No, I can't agree more. We actually, on the dental side of things, outside of the Pain and Sleep Therapy Center, part of our dental practices, the doctors in our dental practices are actually using iPads to be able to do this Tele Dentistry thing.
Awesome.
And honestly, the feedback has been great so far. I mean, it really has. And again, it just helps you so that, we want to be efficient. And like you said, we might not be able to just cram everybody in. We might have to be 2 operatories away or whatever it is. We might have to have these partitions that we put up. And so we're not going to be able to have these crowded waiting rooms of patients that are like waiting to be seen for their services. Right. So, we may want to say, hey, Dr. Green is available from 8 to 11 for his teledentistry part of his day. Right. So he has his iPad and, people are like, okay, well, my tooth, and he talks to, he's like, all right, well, that sounds like a root canal, cause we do a better job of triaging our patients than perhaps a front desk would. But, I guess to my point is, we'll be able to schedule them more efficiently so that when they do come into the office, it is a streamlined process. The patient feels comfortable. We know what we need to do. And it might be the new way of life. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I think also in an interesting way, I think we're going to spend more time with our patients connecting, because we're usually rushing around offices going this. So patients might feel like they're bonded better with us, to use a dental term. So thanks for everything, Ryan. We're going to jump off here, Nachoverse, but tell us one more time, your Pain and Sleep website is what, Ryan?
It's www.painandsleepcenter.com.
Awesome. Great talking with you. Nachoverse, I'll be back on at 8 o'clock for our CE course for the Dental Nacho Supreme. You can still sign up for that. Ariel, drop the link in. Ryan, hang around. We'll chat for a few minutes. Nachoverse, get your own parenting medicine. I'm going to wait till after the course to have mine. Thanks.
All right. Cheers.